Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing a full tutorial on Inkwell IO1's bosses. So let's get started. Starting off with the root pack, the weapons you're going to want are the spread and the lobber. You don't need a super for this one. You can have it if you want. I'm not going to use it. And then for your charm, just do the extra hit point. It doesn't really matter what charm you do with this one. It's only the weapons that matter. Yeah, with the first phase, you want to just use the spread, and then just get up in his face and just keep on shooting. And then at the end of the first phase, you want to use the lobber and do that. So then all the lobbers hit him and deal a lot of damage. And then you want to switch back to the spread. Look out for the rain, look out for the teardrops that are kind of falling down from the screen so you don't get hit. That's the second phase. And for the third phase, just kind of jump a lot, use a few EXs with the spread, and that's pretty much this whole fight. Like, that's all the tips I have, so yeah. This fight is definitely the easiest Cuphead fight, so yeah. And with that strategy, you should be able to beat it in just a little under a minute. Later bosses are not going to be so nice to you, though. Alright, now for Goopy the Grand, the weapons you are going to want are the Chaser and the Spread. You don't need a super for this one again. You can have it if you want. Charm, you're going to want Smoke Bomb, because he bounces all around the place and you're going to need to be able to dodge him. So, for this whole first phase, you're going to want to use the Chaser weapon. Just because since it locks onto the boss, it's really useful. And then when he does like that little head attack, you want to use the spread to get some good damage in. But yeah, that's pretty much all the tips for this phase. So yeah. And then when it gets big, you're going to want to switch to the spread, and then when those parryable things come up, you want to parry them, and then switch back to the Chaser to be able to hit them. And don't use any EXs till the third and final phase of this fight. Make sure not to get hit like I just did. It's fairly easy to get hit in this phase, but yeah. Now you're going into the third phase, and with bosses that like don't hurt you when you touch them, like most bosses, you can just go straight up to where their hitbox is, and then just use the spread and like use a spread EX, and you should be able to get a lot of damage in, just like that. Now it should take you a little over a minute if you did that strategy. It may take you a bit longer or shorter. Alright, now to Hindabird. So the weapons and the super don't matter, it's the charm that matters. You're gonna want the coffee charm because it just kind of fills your super meter up over time, and that's good. So basically what you want to do is just dodge these guys, parry their attacks if you can. And then whenever she stretches, see if you can get a bomb in, or like an EX in. It's hard to do though. And then once you have your super, use it. And then there's a chance that she can either turn into the 2-woman or the Sagittarius for her next fight. Don't switch to the bombs since you probably don't have those yet. And if it's the Sagittarius, just try to avoid these 2 stars. Maybe shoot them if you can. If it's the 2-woman, basically the same thing. Just dodge their attacks and and get in as many hits as possible. Don't die. Okay. Well,
This match will get red hot.
yeah, if you just keep on doing that strategy and being careful not to get hit, you should be able to beat this boss. I just wasn't being very careful. So yeah. Dodge is, yeah. Dodge the bull when you can, like dodge the bull stretching. And then just, and now the bull phase is over. And she's going to be shooting some tornadoes. Again, use your super if you can. And it's the Sagittarius again. Yep. She liked the little stars because they home in. The big golden arrow isn't much of a threat as long as you're not really in the middle of the screen where it gets fired. So yeah. Parry the shots that you can. Use your super. Now for this part, you can't deal any damage. You just gotta hit her to get your super meter up. And if you have the coffee, you can get around 4 cards before the end of like the whole thing. And it's just a little short while you'll be able to get your super. And then for these red UFOs at the top, they activate right when you're under them. But like the brown UFOs activate just before they're under you. So be careful about that. And yeah, you should be able to beat Hindenburg. And if you do it in a fast enough time, get your parries. And be careful not to get hit. And use your super. You will be able to get an A+. Alright, now on to Ruby and Croaks. Onward. Ruby and Croaks is one of the harder fights, so you're gonna have to be really careful and time your dodges good. So this phase you want the roundabout, the spread, and you should have your super by now, so you're gonna want that, and then the extra hard point.
A brawl is surely brewing. Now go.
And now the reason the roundabout is good is because its EX does a lot of damage. And since the 2 frogs each have their own hitbox but share the same HP, you're gonna be able to deal a lot of damage. Like see how it's making the hit sound, the hit sound, but it's like the EX hit sound, but it's doing it twice. That's how you know you're doing it correctly. Make sure not to get hit. Use your EXs when you can. Just damage him as much as possible before you can deal any attacks in. And then when you're close to the guy, like, doing the fan, you want to use the spread. But when it makes you far away, you're going to want to use the roundabout. Just hit him before the green frog guy is about to hit you. Dodge his coins, parry that. Switch to your roundabout. And this one has 3 different attacks. It's either the snake one, which gets progressively faster. Then the bull one, which has like 2 laser beams. One can either be on the top or the bottom. Use your super if you can, and then the tiger one is like just shoots like balls from the top. Like here's the bull one, like that little flame. Depending on which side it's on, you want to be on the opposite side. And using those tips, you should be able to beat him pretty easily. With a good time. Yeah, like about an A or A minus using those tips. And then for the mausoleum, the weapons and super doesn't really matter. But for every single mausoleum, you're going to want the pea sugar, the automatic parry, just because it's really useful. And now let's go on to Cagney Carnation. Alright, so for this fight, you're going to want to still have the spread. the pea shooter. Still use your super, and then for this, you're gonna want the coffee so you can get your super in more.
Here's a
It's either
real high-class battle.
the coffee or the heart charm, whichever one suits you best. Like if you're not very good at dodging, I would say the heart charm. But if you are good at dodging, I would say get the coffee. You can just get your super up faster. And he's either gonna like stretch his face out the bottom or the top of the screen. You're gonna want to aim down for either one. And he's gonna be shooting his slipper boomerang, so you're gonna want to jump over that. And he's gonna like shooting some nuts. You're gonna want to jump over. You're gonna want to dodge those as well. And then you should be able to go to the second phase. And this is when you want the pea shooter, because you can deal good damage and not be too close, so you don't get hit very often. Be careful, look at the bottom of the platforms with the vines growing on top, so then you don't get hit.